Here we are. It is, I call it Fun Friday Foolery. I don't know where I got that. I had the Fun Friday from before. But Arlene and I are back here live on a beautiful Friday afternoon or evening. How you doing, Arlene?
I am doing amazing. And, it's funny because you and I were just talking about our theme, and I had forgotten you changed the title. And it was all about having fun. So here we are having fun.
Absolutely. So I'll start first. I did not get to play golf today. I usually play golf every Friday with my sister. The forecast was for 109 degrees today,
Crazy.
and so we had talked earlier in the week and we were going to play. And then when I saw it was going to be 109, I texted her. I'm like, I'm out. Like, there's no way. And then she came back and said, I get it. And then I was like, did you want to play? And she's like, no, let's just wait till next week. So, no golf today, but I did try to find a little bit of fun today. So, Arlene, just jump right into our topic of fun.
Yeah, it was interesting. I was in the midst of a conversation a little earlier today, and I was reminded of the importance of getting back to that childlike fun. And unfortunately, dinner is here. Therefore, I don't have two of the three grandchildren here trying to fly the paper airplane and hit the fan. But it was, it was actually, we've actually got a paper airplane right now that flies really well. And if it hits the fan or comes in this direction, it redirects it. And I think that we can get so busy with all the serious things that we forget fun.
Maybe you should try making a paper airplane and throwing it at the fan yourself, because that might be kind of fun.
Oh, well, I've made actually every one of the paper airplanes that fly through my space, I have made.
But you're not throwing them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I throw
Okay.
them.
Oh, okay. I
We
wanted to.
can't say I'm left out of this, but it was entertaining as Xander actually threw one of them and it hit the fan and it went flinging in different direction. It's like, oh, that's kind of fun. So now the game is, can you hit the fan with the paper airplane?
All right. And is that going to be your evening festivities?
It could be after we're done. I Everyone's down eating dinner because it was we dinner arrived shortly before we got on here. Um, and I know that two other adults in the house are not really feeling very well. So it's very possible we may be back into the let's see if we can hit the fan with the paper airplane games
Whatever,
again.
whatever keeps them going. So, what are you
Yeah,
doing for fun today, this weekend, or have done this last week?
yeah. Last night actually met up with some friends, started at a coffee shop, which is effectively across the street from the beach. Okay, I'm spoiled. I'm like at the beach. And then we walked down and hung out at the beach for a while last evening. So
Nice.
in my area, it's really easy to go enjoy the beauty of the beach. And we have humidity. We don't have quite the temps that Sacramento has. Um, but it feels a little hot because of the humidity. You hit the 81 and it bumps it up to 85, 90 degrees. Um, so I'm suspecting I might try another beach outing because
Nice.
last night was super cool. It was a beautiful night on the beach, amazing sunset. I'm on the side of the coast that you don't actually see the sunset from the beach over the water. But if you turn around, the sunset is setting. And we were in a place where there was this beautiful um, plants growing, beach, and then you had sunset. So that was other than watching paper airplanes hit the fan and go in a redirected area. That was one of the highlights of my week. How about you?
That's lovely. So, oh, let me turn this off. My phone is making noise. I would say, I mean, it's been just a kind of a regular week until the heat started to come in. So I did miss golf because that's one of my favorite things to do, which is what started Fun Friday because I was always on like such a high from being able to play golf, but I didn't get to play golf. But I did spend some time this morning in the garden. I got my workouts in early on, although I don't know that those are necessarily what I would call super fun, but it's something that I really like to get in. And then this afternoon I did some planning, and so I kind of sat quietly and did some planning. And I am going to go over to some friend's house, and we're going to hang out in their pool this afternoon. So that's going to be awesome. But I really like the idea of focusing on fun, focusing on the balance of
Yeah.
what we do all the time. And for someone who lives alone like I do, sometimes it's a little bit harder to carve out those times, and we're kind of out of practice with it because we've been kind of hunkered down. But yeah, I'm getting out there and doing some fun things with some friends, and I've been traveling a lot. I've been going to visit friends and family, and so it's been good. It's been really good.
Yeah, it's interesting as you were talking, I was reminded last week we were talking about what shifts are you making after the pandemic? Um, and then as you shift into the fun side of things, as we're starting to get back out and do things in the world beyond our four walls. And, I think there's been so many amazing things that have happened for me being inside the four walls,
Yeah.
but now the opportunity again, go hang out the beach with some amazing ladies, see the sun setting this direction, see the ocean on this side, and but wherever you are, you have that opportunity to look around you and find the amazing beauty.
Yeah.
And so, what are you doing to make that be fun?
Yeah. Well, and when I think about fun, I think I've got to be like, it's got to be like super fun. Like it's got to be you're doing what you love. But you can like this afternoon. Usually I'm playing golf, so I had a couple of hours where I was like, I'm just gonna okay. This is actually what I said. What do people do when they don't have anything, like they don't have something planned? Okay, this is, and it's not like I don't plan for fun because I take every Friday off. So I'm it's not like I don't have balance, but I had extra time today, and I'm like, well, what do people do when and I remember people saying they read. Colleen reads, my sister reads. I'm not reading a particular book right now, and I was like, I don't really want to start a book because sometimes when I get into a book, I'll lay on the couch for 8 hours until the book is done. So that's not always the best thing for me. But I remembered I had found when I was traveling, like last weekend, I was flying out of town in an old whatever. I had found that one of those little books where hello.
And
is
here
that
we
Xander?
have the master of fun.
That is Xander. Xander, are you the best at throwing airplanes into the fan?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll bet you are.
Dinner must be over.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the.
Yeah, I was just thinking how what do people do? And I have these little word puzzles where you try to find, it's all the words, the letters, and you try to find the words.
And then the noodle. And then put on a big step player.
Okay, well, take it down and show mommy and daddy how it can fly.
This is what you call live.
Airplanes down the stairs because that's what we do on Friday night.
Anyway, I was just saying, I sat down and I played with this puzzle for an hour or whatever. Sometimes it's hard to get back into, or for me to just relax. I remember my ex used to say, Janet, just sit the F down, or chill the F out, right? Because I have a hard time like sitting still and not doing a whole lot. But so when I think about fun, fun can just be those small little things of like tomorrow it's going to be 111 here. So I'll get out
Yeah,
early, I'll go to the
crazy.
gym, I'll get out, I'll do my thing. But in the heat of the day or the afternoon, I'm not going to watch golf and just hang out and chill. And that'll be
Mhm.
fabulous.
Yeah, no, I agree. And, but sometimes we need the reminder.
Absolutely, we do.
And, and sometimes it's just a quick break and throw on some crazy music and get up and dance and move your body
I love that.
and
I love
have
that.
a lot of fun with it. And so, again, that was a conversation I was having earlier today. It's so easy as business owners, entrepreneurs, to get in that place of feeling like we've got to do this and do that and do this. And we lose our childlike fun side of us.
Yeah. You're lucky you live with children. So
I,
I
and
think you must get reminded more often than someone who doesn't of just the reckless abandon that children display.
that's interesting you say that because in a conversation I was having today, it was one of one of the most precious moments I've had over the last probably week. Xander periodically, he obviously he jumps in. You just never know when the boy's coming. Um, but a few days ago, I was just waking up, and he pops his head in through the door, and Grandma, are you awake? But he walks in, and he is this smiley, happy bundle of energy boy that as he walks in, hey, can I come cuddle with you? And in the conversation I was having earlier today, it was the reminder of that moment, but it's that example that you can look to. And trust me, I don't use that example near enough of if you can get back to that childlike energy of the I just love the world, I love you, I love walking in, and this bright-eyed, beautiful, smiling little guy, 3-year old. Um, and so as I was having that conversation, it was kind of having reflected on, if you were to look at that place where you had the most joy, what brings you the most joy? That was the reminder. But the message in that is don't just use that as your moment of joy, but use that as your example of how do you have. And so, do I show up in that place where I just exude happiness, joy, love for whoever's around me? And so that was what was challenging me. And even though I live with it, I can't say that I'm the best at automatically thinking about having joy and fun. And it's like, I've got this call coming up, get out of here, or, whatever it is, all of those other conversations we have. And, but it was the reminder of if you think about it, where you don't have all of the worries of the world, but instead you turn that into the I'm going to be that child and I'm going to get up and I'm going to dance or I'm going to throw paper airplanes at the fan or I'm going to do whatever random things you might do as a kid. But I think that's a great reminder for all of us. And yeah, you're right. I have the blessing of living with that, but I can't say I automatically always think like that.
Yeah. Well, as you were talking, you made me think about reaching out to other people to encourage them
Mm-hmm.
to find their joy or to let their hair down or to have
Yeah.
some fun. Because I just know I when you were talking, I was thinking about a couple of people that are in my life that I think probably could use a reminder because they're
Yeah.
just so especially with all we've been through for the
Mhm.
last, year and a half. It's not, it's easy to kind of get myopic
Yeah.
and not really think about like time to let our hair down and time to just think about it or time to just be like, okay, I love the idea of fun and being fun. um, However, today I just needed to figure out a way to just be,
Hmm.
just to sit and find something to do. Like I got out, and I also found this crossword puzzle, which I learned that I suck at. I mean, whatever kind of crossword puzzle I have, I don't know any of this stuff. But it's been in my. I have
Yeah.
this drawer. This probably been. I probably had these things for 10, 12 years. It's been around a long time. Um, but I thought, oh, that'd be good for my mind. So I started with the crossword puzzle, and then I just got so frustrated because I didn't know any of the words. So I threw that aside and I got out the little word thing. But just to be, like, just to be
Hmm.
and do something that is that's not necessarily mindless, but maybe it does help your mind a little bit. But I'm not. I will be completely honest. I am not good at just being. I am not good at just
Hmm.
sitting with it. I am good
Yeah.
with stuff to do. Not to say like 6 o'clock at night, I'm watching the news. Like I'm just sitting there watching mindless TV. Um, but I am watching the news. But I'm not good at just being with the quiet.
Yeah. And some of it's being with the quiet. Some of it is in those moments where you're not quite sure what you need, throw on some crazy music and get up and dance,
Yeah.
even though you're the only one there.
I don't have any trouble with that. I don't do that very often, but unless I like, well, anyway, I don't do that very often, just sitting here. But I don't have any problem doing that. I just don't do it very often. I think it's a
Well,
great
but I
idea,
think
though.
that's the point is you may not have a problem with it, but do you need to do it more often
Maybe I do need to do it more often.
in those moments
Disco,
where the
disco.
I'm looking for something crazy, I'm looking for mindless stuff. So, oh, maybe I'll throw some crazy music on. I think that there's a lot of those things and we lose sight of the benefits. Going back to sharpening the axe,
Yeah,
because in effect, that's where you get up, move your body, change your state, whatever you want to call it. You're sharpening your axe.
yeah,
And what you do next is going to be way better than what you were doing had you continued to try and push your way through it.
yeah. Well, I also think it's um, some of the best thinking. Probably all of the best thinking that I have
Mhm.
is when I'm not thinking about it. It's in the middle of the night. It's in the shower. It's out on a walk. Um, my best thinking comes when I'm not thinking, or
Mhm.
I should say, my best ideas come from when I'm not thinking. And I can
When you're not,
certainly take a, I can take the recommendation to be more quiet, because that's something that I don't make time for. I don't do very well.
yeah, well, and I think that yes, and I don't want to minimize the importance of quiet, but sometimes some of that activity helps you quiet your mind. So even if it was mindless dancing, all of a sudden you can sit down and now you can be quiet and, oh, wow, where'd that come from?
Yeah,
And so I think um, there's many ways to be quiet, and it
agreed.
doesn't automatically mean that you're sitting down with the meditation pose of
Yeah, agreed. Which I'm not very
and
good at that either. I've done quite a bit of that, but I'm not. I'm really good at meditating in the moment, but I'm not good at meditating every day.
yeah, well, and again, I think there's expectations we put on ourselves of what meditating looks like that causes us to make it be this really painful and challenging experience, when in fact it could be the let me get up and do a little dancing, let my body move, and then sit down and let me sit now that I've energized myself and see what thoughts come. What are my questions I want to ask, and see what thoughts come in as a result of now you've changed everything about your state and you're sitting down having that quiet moment after you've done that. I think meditation automatically thinks, okay, I get up and I meditate and I'm going to sit quietly and all the magical answers are going to come. But sometimes maybe you need to get up and do some moving before you could sit quietly and hear the answers.
I agree. Are you getting up and dancing?
I did last night. And after
Are you
the
sure you weren't just
I
running
had,
away from the kids? It really was dancing?
what was that?
So you sure you weren't just running away from the kids? It was real dancing?
That's a really good question. But in this case, I was all by myself. It looks like the triangle airplane failed. So we're going to fix it. But in that particular case, I was not running from the kids. I was, in fact, actually doing dancing. And this one may not go back into the triangle that it once was. But
Can make it into a triangle one?
I'll make it into something. We're going to call it a really good airplane. And I'm not sure who folded this one because it doesn't feel like one of mine. But here you go. All done.
It's a faulty one.
Woo! And there we flew the airplane.
Yay!
It's as good as it gets, buddy, because this part is the front of the triangle. Look at that. And then here's the rest of the triangle. There you go. Where's your other airplane? Go find your other airplane. All right, find me a new paper and I'll fix you another one.
All right, let's see. What else has been going on for you this week? I will say one thing that I have been doing. Well, I'll say two things. One is I was sitting here at my desk at 3:50 yesterday afternoon, and I felt things start to rattle, and I was like, that's weird. And then it started to really rattle, and I have these set of headphones that I use when I'm, doing a podcast, and they're shaking, and I'm like, we're having a freaking earthquake. So, but it wasn't like a huge one. Like I've been through. I was through Loma Prieta, and I've been through like some really major earthquakes. But I knew it was an earthquake, but it wasn't super big. So I called my neighbor, and I have these lovely neighbors, and Rose Marie answered, and I was like, did you just feel an earthquake? And she's like, oh, thank God, because I'm sitting here with Barry, and I felt it, but he didn't do anything, so I thought it was crazy. Anyway, so earthquake going on here, and then all these aftershocks, whatever. So that's one. The second thing is, I have this huge garden that's going absolutely berserk right now.
That's awesome.
It is awesome, and I
wish I was there to take the.
I wish you were too, because I'm eating squash 9 ways, cucumbers. I found a recipe for cucumber soup. I made zucchini waffles. Like I'm just beans. I'm like I'm going plant-based diet for the next foreseeable future because I have so much stuff and I've given it to people, but not everybody. They're like, okay, that's enough. So anyway, I'm eating from the garden. That's one of my themes for probably, and it's only the beginning of July. So
yeah,
and the garden is going.
It can be that way, but
it's going crazy. I mean, like it is going crazy. So
very cool.
Anyway, so I'm excited about eating from the garden.
And I got so engulfed in the eating from the garden. That sounds so fun that there was another thought at the very beginning that you had that caused me to say, But it's not come back yet.
Oh, was it about the earthquake?
Oh, yeah. I, again, your coast, earthquake, my coast, hurricane. You know, there are all those kinds of things. For those who are not aware, I'm in Florida. Elsa kind of came up the west coast of Florida. I'm on the east coast. It came up the west coast, kind of worked its way on up into Georgia. We had some rain, turned into a tropical storm. But, I think that one of the things that we have going on is lots of crazy natural things that happen.
Yep.
And, if I didn't know Elsa was coming through, I wouldn't have known that we had it depended on the day of whether it was a hurricane or a tropical storm. But for where I was at, I wouldn't have known we even had that if I didn't have all these apps on my phone that alert
Sure.
me to all of the things going on. But it causes me to, at those points where you unplug from all of the media, you may not even know that it happened.
Yeah.
And I had friends yesterday. I was on the phone last night with a group of ladies, and there was some that was, hey, can you believe the earthquake? And the others like, what earthquake? I was working all day and I knew nothing about it. And I think you can take that into other aspects of life, because there are some situations that maybe you've been so focused on what you're doing that you didn't hear about the collapse of the seaside condominiums, or you missed all of these other things. And so as I say that, seaside, very
Surfside.
sad. What's that?
Surfside. It's Surfside.
Oh, Surfside. Tragic. No doubt that it's tragic, but 10 years ago, would I have even known it happened in comparison to today? Or maybe
Yeah.
20 years. 20 years ago is a better example. And so getting back to what are you doing to spark energy and life in your own life? And you can get drawn into those crazy things, or you can throw paper airplanes at the
You can just chill out, and I think that's an important part of what we all need to do is find your way to have fun. Um, I find it interesting when people ask me, "Are you going to take vacation? Are you like what now that we're opening up?" And I've kind of always said this, especially when I lived in Tahoe, but I haven't been able to get back there a whole lot during the pandemic.
right.
But I don't need to go anywhere to fulfill. I don't,
Mm-hmm.
and so try to find a way every week or so of doing your or whatever you need to blow off steam or to fulfill that part of your gas tank that needs fulfilling. I try to do that on a continuous basis rather than I need to go take a week off. I have a friend of mine. I don't know how he takes all these vacations, but he's taking all these vacations, and I'm like, he's like, oh, I need a vacation. I'm like, I never really feel like I need a vacation. I mean, every Friday I take a vacation, so maybe
Right.
that's it. But I don't know. It's just I find it curious, and I don't really know where I was going with that, but I just find that curious.
Well, and as you were talking, that reminds me of a book I read years ago, and then I reread it because someone told me to go read it, and it's like, oh yeah, I read this. Had some really good ideas in it. but it's the on purpose person. And a lot of the focus is around creating your ideal day, your ideal week, your ideal month, your ideal year. And the question is are you on purpose or off purpose? And the very best illustration it had is you walk in the room, you got a light switch. Is the light switch on or is it off?
Yeah.
So, kind of to your point, is I'm taking every Friday off. I'm not, I work Monday through Thursday as opposed to 7 days a week. I'm enjoying my life. I have these things that I really include in my life that I love. And so I think that it's where you've got that, and not everyone's balance is the same.
Absolutely.
If you
And not
automatically say, I've got to have a week off and therefore that's what recharges me, for me, I had an amazing night at the beach last night. And
yeah.
it was only a couple hours. And yes, I can walk to the beach any day I want. But are you using those things to recharge you as opposed to I've got to have a week off so I can go to Maui and I can then suddenly recharge my battery?
Yeah. And everybody does it differently. I get that. It means different things for everybody. Everybody's in different spaces, spaces in your mind, spaces in your head, places in your life. I mean, we're all in different places, and I guess my thought on it is there's no way to do it or not to do it. It's figure out what works for you and then do what works for you.
Well, and I agree. And the better we can be an example to others, like I take every Friday off and I go golfing with my sister and I absolutely love it to death. That one, you're outside getting exercise and you've got some amazing time with your sister. What gets better than that?
And playing a really hard game. I mean, we could go for a walk and it would be a very different experience. So on my fun Fridays, I would usually do them after golf, and I would, as I was saying last week, I would come up with some kind of a lesson or something that had come out of the day. And so golf is like that. Golf is going to give you, I mean, I don't know any golfer, I was watching golf for a little bit right before I jumped on today, and I watched this poor guy just was not having a good day, and he's a good golfer. Golf is a humbling game, and golf is a tough game. And it's like you play a hole and you're like, I just want one good shot for that hole. So there's a lot of, even though I didn't play golf today, golf is it can be a learning experience. Golf can be, there's always things to learn from your day on the golf course.
And I agree. And I think that was kind of the point I was making is, what's your fun?
And I'll say this because I don't know that I'm unique in this. I'm probably not. We as golfers, and probably we as entrepreneurs or husbands or wife or grandmothers or parents or friends, focus way more on the stuff that we don't do well than we do on the things we do well. I mean, it's so easy to go and shank your driver, or I hit it 120 yards to the right. Or 100 yards to the right. That's not a good drive. That is not a good drive. And then I'm a pretty good putter. So I'll sink some, 20-foot putt, and I'll think more about my lousy drive than I will think about my great putt. And I have to keep training just go back, let it go, shake it off. The next hole, the next shot, not the next hole, the next shot is another opportunity to do it better or to have a better result. And I think we need to live our business lives like that too. I'm
That was
still
a
chasing down this money that I keep chasing down, and he keeps avoiding me, and I'm keep continuing to do it. But there will be a day when I catch him and he writes me a check. But it just is one. It's life, it's business, it's golf, it's any sport that you might be playing probably.
well, but I think the analogy can be made for life.
Absolutely.
And it's not overlooking that part of the whole message.
See, this is how we go. I try to go light, you go deep. I bring you back light, we go deep. This is just how we're going to play on this Fun Friday Foolery, which, hey, works for me.
Well, and and that's where all of a sudden the brain goes. It's not one of those things I plan because you know how will we plan Fun Foolery Friday or whatever we have this.
Yeah, not at all. Can you see Facebook? Are there any people out there or?
As of this minute, there's nobody out there.
All right. Because I can't see anything, so I don't know if anybody. Anyway,
No comments so far.
all right.
I
So
decided to like us because I thought it was a good idea.
I can't find us, so I'm on
Oh.
Facebook, but I can't see us.
You can't see us in the business entrepreneur community?
I cannot.
Huh.
Go
Interesting.
I go to the group, and it's here, but I don't see us anywhere. Doesn't say so and so's live. It doesn't. That's us from yesterday,
Yeah.
last week. So it doesn't show me.
Huh. Well,
So, anyway.
let me try it on my phone because my phone might be different. And anyone who's looking to
Well,
find us, they might find us because I help us do this.
can I stop us on Facebook while we do this?
What's that?
So should I stop our live on Facebook while you do
Oh
this?
no, not at all.
Oh,
Because I'm going to help them.
You're gonna do it live. Okay, great. I would
Yeah.
like to know because I can't figure it out on my phone.
Yeah. Well, and in Facebook directly, it's showing up there. So
Not on my phone. It's not. But maybe you can't see it on your own if you're it.
here it is.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it. And is it under the Breakaway Entrepreneur Community?
It is.
Yeah,
That's how I found it.
mine's not working.
Huh. It just doesn't like you today. Maybe it'll
Oh, I
like you
live.
later.
Okay, it says I'm live now. Okay, it just showed up.
Oh, well, good. At least you're not lost.
No, I'm not. Now we can see. And maybe next time someone will come and ask us some questions or join in the conversation.
Yeah, and that's a good point because right now, if someone had a question, had a comment, had feedback in Facebook, we would have responded.
All right. All right, Facebook, I am going to sign off. And Earlene and I are going to have a few more minutes of cocktails together. You guys all have a great weekend. Earlene, you stay with me.
I will.